Yes, great. Okay, welcome everybody on the Climate Cafe Green Blue Online. I'm Sydney Stacks. I'm working at the municipality in Nijmegen on water management, and I'm doing this together with Floris Bogaert for over 5 years now, and also for many years now with Shanae. We're talking with many experts, students, PhD students, just people who live in beautiful areas where the topics climate adaptation, water management, or biodiversity, or architecture and landscape architecture are hot topics. And today we have another great topic. We're going a bit away from the stuff that I'm used to do, like water management, this kind of stuff, because climate adaptation is not only about getting to the safety measures, but also about how people experience stuff. So without further ado, we'll hand the floor to Yacine. I hope I said it right.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sydney. Thank you. And I want to thank everyone here and thank you very much for your invitation to this presentation. And thank you, of course, for your work and for ClimateCafe, of course, also. You did very good work and I saw many conferences. So they are very useful for me and very
Ah, cool.
interesting. Yeah,
Good to hear.
thank you. I will start my presentation. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Share. I don't know what you are seeing now.
We're seeing ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to change the screen you're sharing.
Mm-hmm. Um, where's the... Okay, here. You can see the presentation?
Yes, we're seeing it. Great, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Thank you again for your invitation. I am very happy to be with you today. So my today's presentation is titled Walking Through Urban Senses, the Influence of Climate and Sensory Qualities on Pedestrian Experience. And of course, I'm a PhD candidate in architecture and urban planning in the Faculty of Applied Sciences of the University of Liège in Belgium. Well, I always want to start with acknowledgement. So thank you, ClimateCafe. And also I want to thank my laboratory, my supervisors in Sustainable Building Design Lab in the Faculty of Applied Sciences in the University of Liège, where I am doing my PhD. And also the municipality of Béjaïa in Algeria, where my case study is based. So I start with to explain the context of this project, of the research project. This project is related to the current situation in many cities around the world, where rapid urbanization and unsustainable mobility are causing climate and health problems. As you see here, for example, this is a picture in Algeria, in the capital of in Algiers, in the capital of Algeria. So you can see sometimes it is the daily situation, and also in many cities in developing, especially in developing countries in the world. So this is related to the many problems, like for example, for climate. Urban settlements generate about 70% of global carbon emissions. And according to the World Health Organization, 1.8 billion adults suffer from inactivity, and this could rise to 35% by 2030. So what is the solution for this all these problems related to unsustainable mobility? Of course, sustainable mobility is the solution, but one of the best solution is walking, because walking is free, is very simple, and is related with many advantages. For example, for health, the World Health Organization recommends 150 to 300 minutes of physical activity per week, and more physical activity could prevent 4 to 5 million deaths every year. And for climate, according to the IPCC, walking and cycling can help reduce greenhouse gas emissions, of course, and also improve health. And walking also gives low cost and inclusive access to daily needs and helps create better public spaces. But the question is, what makes people walk? This is the main question of my research. What are the factors that encourage people or pedestrians to walk in the city? So to make walking a real urban solution, we must design street level comfort as pedestrians feel, hear, and see the city. So, of course, there are many factors that influence walking and pedestrian comfort. In my research, I have, to simplify, of course, my research, I have identified 3 main dimensions. We have the microclimate, everything related to temperature, shade, and surface temperature, wind speed, and so forth. And we have also soundscape. Soundscape related to the noise, not only noise, but also different type of sounds, what we hear in the city, natural sound, mechanical sounds. And also we have another dimension is the visual scape, everything we see in the city. So my thesis is structured around these different factors and different dimensions, and I structured my articles also about in this organization. So each dimension is published as an article. Now I will explain you today the 2 main dimensions, microclimatic and soundscape. So as I said, my case study is the city of Bija in Algeria, located in northern Algeria, about 200 kilometers from Algiers, capital Algiers. It's a Mediterranean city with 2 main parts. First, the upper town here, you see. It is characterized by heritage and narrow streets, old or heritage architecture, which called also Medina of Bijaya. And we have also the lower part, which is the contemporary city, or the city built after the Algeria's independence in 1962 with more modern urban fabric. So you see here the position of Bijaya in the Mediterranean region, and here in the north of Algeria. So this is some examples. Here you can see some photos about the historical city. You can see here historical architecture, roofs, and narrow streets, to have an idea about the characteristics of urban spaces. And here you have 2 photos about the contemporary city. You can see that there is a lot of differences in facades, in urban spaces, and also streets. It's really different. So our goal now is to have an idea about the experience of walking in the different case studies, about the influence of microclimate, soundscape, and visualscape. And also not only to compare with them, but to have maybe some lessons about the which can provide in the historical city, and we can maybe apply them in the contemporary city. Or this is our questions. So the case study is very large. This is all the city of Bijaya. This is the old part, and this is the lower part. So it's very large. So we decide to simplify our study to work on zones. So we divided our case study area, both the old city and the lower city, and to find the representative parts. In the old city, we identified 2 zones. A zone characterized by pre-colonial fabrics with trace of Kabyle and Ottoman architecture. And the second zone is characterized by colonial fabrics according to the French model, because of course, of the French colonization. And in the lower city, we have 3 different zones. The zone characterized by a planned fabric, well-defined blocks. Another zone characterized by mixed industrial fabrics, industrial and residential. And another zone characterized by unplanned fabric, which is spontaneous fabric. And you can see here in these maps of the different zone, there are clear differences in the morphology of the urban spaces, the routes, and the different component of the urban environment. So our goal is to understand the experience of walking in the 2 parts, but also to compare between the different zones and to have an idea about how morphology, for example, influence also the the thermal perception and walking. So I will start here I will start in the study of microclimate. So we asked the question here: how do microclimate variation affect pedestrian thermal perception and walking experience? Here we have we followed here our methodological framework. So the first step is the immersion in the space. So with exploratory walks to identify key microclimatic features and spatial, and we move to the urban and the historical contextualization. So we did an morphological analysis to understand the different spaces. And after that, we move to 3 main methodologies or 3 main steps. The first steps is of course, the thermal data or data collection. We collected many information about air temperature, relative humidity, wind speed, surface temperature, and sky view factor. Of course, we calculated the sky view factor using the fisheye images. I will explain you the methodology using Reimal model. And we used here with the methodology of thermal walks, which we call also guided walks. We walk with the pedestrians, and we use questionnaire with Likert scale and observations. And here we ask the pedestrian about their actual sensation vote, their thermal sensation in different spaces, the wind sensation, and the delta ASV, or the difference between the thermal variation between space to another. And of course, our goal is to understand the walking comfort, or the thermal walking comfort at the end. And we used also another interesting methodology is cognitive emotional mapping. So we ask the pedestrians to draw or to give us some their perception and emotions using drawing, and we analyzed this with the software which called NVivo. So this is, for example, I will explain you the study in the ground, what we are doing. So here the first step is to identify different itineraries in the 5 zones. So here in each zone we identify an itinerary to follow with the pedestrians. Here, for example, this itinerary relay is used by different students in Bija, and students in the University of Bijaya. Here, the residence of students, and they follow this to join the campus of the university. And we have different itineraries like that. Not only students, but also different users of the spaces in Bijaya. And we we identified this itinerary across different urban spaces. Here, for example, we have residence. Here we have, for example, place, a park, gardens, just routes, and so forth. And in each itinerary, we fix the which we call strategic points or focal points. So when we start walking, we stop in each focal point, and we distribute this questionnaire, this short questionnaire. It takes maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes just to respond to the different questions, which using Likert scale. And in the same time, in each point, in the same time, we measure the air temperature here, the relative humidity, the wind speed, the surface temperature, and we use the camera with fish eye to take photos, fish eye photos. Here you can see, and we have the objective data, and we have subjective data to compare with them, to do correlation regressions, to answer our question. So here, for example, we have we ask the pedestrian about the temperature, actual sensation of what. How do you feel the temperature at this moment? How do you feel the wind at this moment? How do you feel the thermal variation compared to your previous sensation? Here is the goal is to understand the variation between a space to another, because this is very important. I will explain you in the conclusions. And of course, our question is, how do you find the comfort of your walk based on the thermal conditions? Here you can see some fish eye images, and we calculate the sky view factor to each focal point, to each space, using Riemann software, Riemann model, and we have here the results. And we do correlation and regression to compare with the surface temperature to understand if the sky view factor influence the surface temperature, and how this influence also the sensation, thermal sensation. So for example, for the sky view factor, the more the sky view factor is very close to zero, means that the space is very close, so it don't allow sunlight to penetrate to the space. Here we organize all this. So we have a lot of results. You can see our publication, of course, to have more information. I will show you our publication, but here just I want to explain one thing, is that we did not only calculate the physical elements, the influence of physical elements like temperature or wind speed on comfort, but also the non-physical elements like vegetation, the vegetation, the maintenance, views, safety, and fatigue. So here our goal is to understand if this non-physical elements, or let me say psychological element, or how they influence also the comfort, the thermal comfort. So we found here, for example, that when pedestrian, I will explain you in the conclusion, is better. So here we have some conclusions. The results show that transition between urban fabrics significantly affect thermal sensation and walking thermal comfort. Strong correlation with observed between surface temperature and sky view factor, and between the actual sensation vote and the walking thermal comfort. Beyond physical factors, perceptual variables like vegetation, maintenance, and views significantly increase the walking thermal comfort. Fatigue and safety concerns reduce the walking comfort. And I will just explain you the different conclusions. The study showed that the sky view factors plays a crucial role in the thermal regulation of urban spaces. It helps reduce air and surface temperature by limiting the direct penetration of solar radiation. This affects is particularly significant in summer when solar exposure is prolonged and intense. The results of the questionnaire showed that the sensation of heat and can decrease in the presence of wind speeds. So a clear positive association between wind speed and walking thermal comfort is observed. However, this was not observed in all cases. When the temperature increased further, the influence of wind seems to diminish. This suggests that the higher temperature, the cooling effects of wind may become insufficient. And for the delta ISV is strongly influenced by slight changes in microclimatic variation, particularly temperature. In many cases, even if 2 points receive the same vote, the delta ISV can vary significantly from the one location to another, depending on the changes in physical and spatial characteristics. So morphological descriptors, particularly the variation between the height and width of spaces, can, as well as the differences in spatial sequences, play a crucial role in differentiating the thermal comfort of places. Of course, another important element that emerged from the analysis is the presence or absence of breathing spaces along pedestrian routes. This space, for example, like squares, gardens, and parks and esplanades, play a crucial role in walking experience and the thermal comfort of pedestrians. They serve as thermal regulation hubs and spatial pause, allowing for both physiological and psychological adaptation to climate and physical constraints during the movement. Additionally, due to thermal memory, and here is very interesting also concept to explore, thermal memory, these spaces can help reduce perceived fatigue and enhance overall walking comfort. When a pedestrian crosses a shaded space, they retain their experience, making the rest of the journey more pleasant. Several researchers also emphasize the importance of thermal memory, stating that thermal comfort does not only depend on the present moment, but it is also influenced by previous thermal experiences. So, for example, this element is we find these conclusions using the mind maps. So it is very important to use different methodologies, not only like objective elements. Vegetation exerts a strong and significantly positive influence on walking thermal comfort. It is evident that even when temperatures are high, the mere visual presence of vegetation in the environment triggers a perception of freshness and create calming effects. The integration of vegetation into pedestrian routes should be considered not only as means of reducing heat, but also as a physiological and sensory comfort factor that influence how pedestrians experience walking. So another conclusion is that a study on thermal perception must consider the transition between traversed space. It is not enough to analyze each space in isolation. It is crucial to consider the changes from the one environment to another for a rich and comprehensive analysis of pedestrian perception. This is also very important. This is why we choose to use an itinerary to understand this variation between the different spaces, and also the thermal to explore the thermal memory. As I said, you can find more information in our publication. Here, the title. You can explore it and have an idea, because we have also many conclusions and informations about the differences we find between the Owl City and the Lower City, and a lot of interesting things. But just I want to go to another dimensions, which is the soundscape. Here also our publication, which called the impact of soundscape on pedestrian comfort, perception, and walking experience in Bijaya. So it is the same principle, but here the difference is in the data. So we ask the question, how does the soundscape influence pedestrian perception and walking experience? Here we collected the detailed information on soundscape evaluation. We asked the participants also about their perceptions. But here for data collection, for example, we used an interesting also methodology which is called participatory sound narratives. So we gave to the different participant, to 10 participants in each zone. We choose in each zone 10 participants. We give them a sound journal, which we call sound journal, and they explain their experience in 7 days. Their daily experience. They draw, they write their sound perceptions, what they like, what they dislike in the city related to sounds, and all it is very interesting documentation to understand this the situation in the city in the different zones, in the 5 zones, in 7 days. So we collected all this information and we analyzed them. Another methodology is the sound walk protocol following ISO. This is so to have data collection about the noise, and also to have the perceptions, the different perceptions of the pedestrians, using a questionnaire, perception questionnaire, and of course, as I said, acoustic measurements. So the stops take 3 minutes according to the ISO. And we used also the cognitive emotional mapping, like the experience with microclimate. Here is the same, but the same principle like the experience with microclimate. Also, we have the different itineraries here across also parks, different spaces. And here we have the objective measurements using sound level meter. We measure, we give to the participants 3 minutes to hear the different sounds in different focal points. And we, in the same time, we measure this with the sound level meter, and we took just photos about the space to have information. And here we asked them about their perception. We have 5. Here we have 5 elements. First, the soundscape evaluation, the overall perception of the sound environment. We using the Likert scale, it's more useful, or it's more easy to them to respond very fastly and very easily. We asked them if the space is very pleasant, and perceptual attributes according to ISO, if the space is pleasant, vibrant, eventful, chaotic, annoying, monotonous, and calm. We have 8 attributes. And here to understand every space. And also we asked them about visual ambience, because we find in the literature that visual elements influence also the sound perception in the space. So we our goal is to understand that how the visual perception can influence sound perception. It's very interesting also to combine between different perceptions. So the evaluation of the visual ambience of the place, and also the perception of the different quality of spaces or of sounds, human sounds, transport, sounds related to natural sounds or urban sounds. For the different 8 attributes, of course, we have very important information, data, lot of data about that, about each point, because we have 5 itineraries in each zone, and we did in the morning 2 experiences in the morning and evening. So to simplify this, we find this representation according to ISO. And this representation is to simplify the study. And it is a proposition of some researchers in Italy. You can find also the link in our paper to their publication. So here we simplified the 8 attributes into only 4 attributes: chaotic, vibrant, monotonous, and calm. This is interesting because we can simply understand how where the different points are situated, if in the calm zone, in the vibrant, in chaotic, or in monotonous. And of each zone, we do the same work here. For example, for this zone OC1, you can see that a lot of points are in the calm zone, so we can have an idea about this zone, if it is more perceived as calm or not. And here we have the different the points in 2 times, in 9 a.m. and 8 a.m. because did the experience in 2 times in the day. So, of course, we have also different comparisons, correlations between the sound and sound perception and visual perception. And here we did the same work also like a microclimatic experience. We wanted to understand also the influence, for example, of visual perception, like cleanness, for example. If it influences sound perception or sound comfort, we find that cleanliness also have a role on the sound comfort. Vegetation also, vegetation cover can influence, and motor vehicle density, of course, and low influence of the Scavio factor, not like the influence on microclimatic. So here we have some results. Also, the soundscape of Bijaya has significantly changed with the disappearance of many traditional sounds and the increased persistence of transport-related noise. It is essential to preserve the city soundscape in order to maintain its acoustic identity. And here it is an interesting concept also to explore the acoustic identity of many cities, especially in the Maghreb region, because they are underexplored, and we have rich sounds related to identity in many cities, also in Algeria. And we need a lot of research in this way, because identity is not just built heritage, but also acoustic and sounds are part of the identity of the city. So in the old city of Bijaya, I will show you now what we are proposing to the municipality to preserve the acoustic identity of the city. Of course, we have another recommendation that qualitative methods based on free expression, such as mental maps, sound diaries, or experience narrative, are crucial for accessing the subjective, emotional, and contextual dimensions of sound perception. The soundscape is not limited to decibels. This is also important. Sound perception is multidimensional. It involves emotional, cognitive, and sensory aspects. Some sound can evoke memories, while others may generate stress, curiosity, or a sense of well-being. Because here is not just the intensity of the sound, we can't consider all the sounds are noise. Not we can't consider only the intensity, but also the origin of the sound, if it is natural, if it is artificial, if it is related to urban sounds, like sounds related to vehicles, or so. For example, maybe the natural sounds, they can have a very high intensity, but they can procure or give a good perception good comfort or comfort, sound comfort to the pedestrians. So this is also important thing. There is a strong relationship between visual ambience and sound comfort, and between visual ambience and walking comfort. Higher visual pleasantness is associated with greater acoustic comfort. As you can see here in the correlation, you can see in the paper the different results of this. Natural elements such as natural sounds and vegetation significantly enhance sound comfort. So this is the project because we studied the different sounds of the historical part of Bijaya, and we find that a lot of sounds are disappeared now, related to the identity of the city, the history of the city. So this project stems from my doctoral research on the soundscape of Bijaya, and we are now making it concrete in the field. The goal is to make the memory of the Medina audible, enhance the pedestrian experience, and transform the soundscape finding into a public accessible device. We create sound walks in the old town first, then also in the lower town. The idea is to encourage walking, revive the Medina's heritage sounds, and let people discover the history. So here walkers can scan the QR codes at stations, about 10, hearing historical sound from archive and reconstitutions with artisans and historians. So step by step, they walk, they listen, they discover the city story. We are implementing this with the partners, of course, the University of Liège, University of Bijaya, Biskra, and we want to propose this to the UNESCO Algeria and the municipality of Bijaya and the Cultural Directorate. This adds a real value to our research, of course, connecting academic work with the real world impact. So this is just our ideas how to implement this. We start just very simple ideas. Now we are moving to implement this project and to work with association and the university to make this this project in the ground. So this is some publications. We can find them about the influence of microclimatic characteristics or soundscape, or also visualscape. We are working on that. And you can also see all my publications in my institutional profile or in my LinkedIn. I will be happy to connect with you also in LinkedIn to collaborate in different projects. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
For this great presentation. Really cool.
Thank you.
How you bring these topics of spatial the architecture, infrastructure, and psychology together with pretty clear results and many different aspects. Really cool how you bring the vegetation and even maintenance to see how that influences these experience, and it really can make a difference in a way maybe not everybody expected. Yeah. Are there any questions from the viewers?
Maybe I can just ask. Oh, sorry, Siska. Go.
Yeah, she did her hand up.
Yeah.
I was first. I've got two questions. Thank you for your clear presentation. One is, I didn't quite understand, maybe you mentioned it, about the safety in the first perception of the people of the microclimate. And I will ask my other question after Sinead.
Yeah, thank you very much for this interesting question. About safety, I can just, I want, maybe I will show you the, okay. Just I will go to the, yeah. Yeah, here, for example, the safety is
we don't see the presentation yet.
Okay. Sorry. So, okay, you can see?
Yeah.
Okay, so here the correlation, the regression between the different non-physical elements or psychological elements and the walking thermal comfort, the comfort related to microclimate or thermal. So here we find that the safety feeling, it's feeling the space more safe, can influence the perception, the thermal perception, can influence the response of the pedestrian related to thermal perception. Of course, this influence also the walking, also the experience of walking in the space. So what we need to understand here, our goal is to understand if this psychological aspects can have also influence on thermal perception and walking, because a lot of studies now they aim to understand only the physical elements or the measurements, by doing measurements like temperature, like wind speed, humidity, how they influence the thermal perception. But the feeling in the space is very important also. The fatigue also is one of the most important element. When we feel the fatigue in the space, this can influence also our thermal perception. So it's not just about the measurements. That's about like let me say the all these elements that I show here. But also we used this is why we used this methodology. We combine different methodologies is to understand this, the data related to measurements and also the feeling in the space, or the emotion in the space. So this is what we are finding. Of course, the perception of vegetation in the space, the role of vegetation also is like not only to reduce the heat in the space, but also when we see vegetation in space can influence our thermal perception. Just seeing the vegetation, when we have a lot of spaces, for example, if you see our publication, you can find that some examples that we find in some place, the heat is very high, but the air temperature is very high. But when we have vegetation surrounding the space, pedestrians say to us or respond to the questionnaire or in the maps or the cognitive maps that they feel good in the space because they see vegetation, they see water and all these elements. Of course, in my research here, I combine a lot of factors. But we can, it's very interesting, and I advise a lot of researchers to understand, to take, for example, only vegetation and to work on that and to deepen the research on this factor, how the vegetation influence the perception, but not only the reducing of the air temperature or surface temperature, but also just the visual perception of the vegetation, how can influence our perception in the space. Views also here, the views is that we choose here the views because of the topography of the owl city. We have very good views to the sea, or to see water and very interesting landscape in the
and I don't want to interrupt you, but your point is that the safety is as the same order to the perception of the people as vegetation or maintenance or view or fatigue.
Exactly.
Then my question.
Yeah.
Then I understand.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Thanks, Renee.
Oh, well, you already answered my question now, because I was going to ask about, do you only consider vegetation or also blue areas with water? And
Yeah.
you did mention that. So that answered my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Sitske had another question you want to ask right now, or?
Yeah, the goal of the research about the soundscapes and the microclimate, the research is the goal to stimulate people, to facilitate people to walk more in the city instead of taking a car to go from one point to another point of the destination?
Yeah, exactly. This is the goal.
Mm.
Yeah, of course. In my research, I have many goals of to researchers, of course, to deepen understanding about how microclimate influence the experience, how the sounds in the city influence the experience of walking and the walking comfort, and also for urban planners, of course, in the municipality of Bijaya, to understand how the different spaces, the heritage space, and in the lower part also of Bijaya, how we can you can find in my publication, for example, a lot of recommendations to the urban planners, how they can improve the walking comfort in these spaces, to encourage people to walk and to don't take vehicles or cars. Yeah. Thank you very much.
I have a question, please. Thank you, Yacine, for your presentation. This is the second time I see it, and it's I discover all the things. You said that the objective is also to encourage the municipality to keep the traditional the sensation of the space, and I'm wondering how you can, with the urbanization that is getting developed, I don't know, in a better or worse way, but are different sounds that are introduced in modern life. How you can keep this memory of the old, all the sensations that you see in the old city and so on.
Yeah, this is very interesting question, because of course now the first step in the research, in our research in soundscape, is we asked a lot of people, the oldest people in the inhabitants in the city, or also in the literature. We find some publications about some books about the history of the Medina, to find the historical sounds in the Medina. So now we are gathering, or we are making like a book of all the historical sounds. And we find that this historical sound, some historical sound persist now, but some of them, they are disappeared, and they are disappeared. So how to now to inform the new generations, or to inform the inhabitants or the tourists of the historical, visiting the historical city, about the historical sounds in these different spaces. So because this historical sounds is not just the old sound, but also they are related to the identity, like some traditional musics, like also the natural sounds in the different spaces. So they are disappeared now. And now when someone visit the historical part of Bijaya, he didn't know. He can't know the situation in the past, and some parts of the city become not really rich on the identity, because it's because of this. So now we are working also to reconstitution of this sound with artisans, because we don't find them now. So we ask the artisans or musicians, or we are working with them, and to the reconstitution of the sounds, and we will put them in different places. Like you scan the QR code and you can hear also the conversation, all this conversation, music, or like natural sounds in different spaces. The goal is not just to memorize the sounds, but also to inform about the history of the city. So it's very there is a technical part of this methodology also, of this work. So
And do you have this traditional sounds there, or how you get them?
Yeah, of course. We found some historical sounds in archives with the oldest inhabitants in the city, or in some people, but some sounds are completely disappeared. So now we have just the idea that in this space we have, for example, in the past the inhabitants meet here and discuss, and they sing, or they make some sounds or something like that. And now we have this idea, and we will work with different specialists of sound or artisans, or to the reconstitution of this sound. So we'll have artificial sound, but like the old sound. It's like the I forget the name, but it's like the in buildings when we are the reconstitution of the old facades, or it exists also in sound, not only in buildings but also in sound. Yeah.
By coincidence, I went to somewhere today to get digitalization of old cassettes.
Okay.
And I found it challenging to go back 20 years back to take to see my kids where they were kids.
Yeah.
So I have one question from Nidu, because her sound doesn't work. Do you think we can design an architectural model that covers all the three aspects simultaneously: voices, temperature, and visualization? What do you think about it?
Yeah, this is also very interesting, because the goal also is, as you say, in microclimatic experience, my research in microclimatic, I am to understand also how visual influence microclimatic, and the experience of soundscape. I also used how the visual influence the sound perception. So now to combine all these elements together in one experience will be very interesting, because of course we can find very interesting results. And I think a lot of researchers work on that, and also about not only sound, microclimate and visual, but also the smellscape. There is another concept which called smellscape also, and they can combine all these elements, sensory aspects, and we find. But it's little. We need to have very methodology which can allow us to understand that, because it's really complex, or yeah.
Yeah, the more variables you add,
Yeah,
the more complex and more problems with confining variables and stuff.
exactly.
So yeah, a small question also from Nilu: was the areas flat, or did it have a slope?
Can you repeat?
The question was if the research area with the pad, probably, did it had a slope in it, or was it just flat?
About the topography?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Here also, I explained the impact of feeling fatigue also on the thermal perception. Yeah, because in the old city is have topography plays a strong role in thermal perception. So when we are going to the upper town, like to move in the lower city to the upper town, we understand, we find that perception of heating increase the discomfort. Of course, this is mean that the fatigue can influence the perception of heating. And
many factors. I think you can add even more if you wanted to, but there are already a lot in this research. So it's really nice, really great. Okay, we're on the time, so I think we're going to stop now. Thank you very much, Yacine. I thought it was really interesting. You already got 2 published articles, so they will be great to read, and more coming are here. So good luck with that, which further on your PhD.
Thank you.
All right. Then we're going to next week. We'll always do this. Next week, we're going to our classical topic, and that is bioswales, and about the infiltration rates in the bioswales depending on different plant growth, and how we might influence infiltration rates slower or faster, and if the plants are really suited for it. So that's next week. All right. Thank everybody for coming, and have a great evening.
Thank you, Yacine. Shukran,
Thank you.
Yacine.
Thank you.
Bye.